Good morning and welcome to MVUU. We're happy to have you with us here this morning. I always want to say, take a second and make sure your phone's on silent. And I want to say, we lost a great musician on Friday, Sergio Mendes, most famous for a group called Brazil 66, and 11 years later, a group called Brazil 77. And for a very brief time, 11 years after that, there was a Brazil 88, although they only made one record and didn't chart. But he was also a very important and influential pianist. He played with a lot of jazz musicians. He made a really great record with Cannonball Adderley, and he also basically helped fuel the bossa nova craze. He and Antonio Carlos Jobim were buddies and friends, and if Tom Jobim wasn't on a gig, chances are Sergio Mendes was. I want to play one of his great hits, which is ironically not a very Latin-tinged anything, but it's a Burt Bacharach tune.
Thank you, Chris. That was beautiful. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to all of you here at Mountain Vista UU Congregation, where we rest in and share the desert of what is, was, and always will be the home of the O'odham and the Yaqui people. We acknowledge as a way to reflect our actively seeking to develop relationships of justice, equity, and trust with all who feel kinship to this place that we call the Sonoran Desert. My name is Samar Adi. I am one of the practice associates helping with today's service, where today's service is led by not Reverend Matthew Funkreri. It is led by our entire PA team. I look forward to hearing from all of them today. But first, I would like to thank our professional staff whose work allows this congregation to do the work that it does. Thank you, Chris, our music director, Stacy, our RE coordinator, who's helping coordinate the volunteers in the RE room, Tay, our engagement coordinator, and Stephanie, our administrator. We thank you so much for all the work that you do. Thank you also to the many volunteers that contribute each week. Our AV crew today, which includes Lee, Alex, Iris on camera, and Dan. Thank you. Volunteers for greeting and hospitality, as well as the volunteers, of course, in RE. Many hands go into putting on a service, and there is always room and space if anyone wants to join in. Our services are not just attended by those of you here in person, but also virtually. Some will be watching this in real time, and others will be watching it at a later time. We would like to, if we can, please turn around and wave at the folks attending virtually. We welcome you. Today's service, you'll be hearing from all of us on the Pastoral Associates team as we share about being and not being a UU. We hope you enjoy this service. Today's chalice lighting, Drawn Together, by Reverend Jennifer Grayson. We come together every week, bound not by a creed or a mutual desire to please one God or many gods, yet we are drawn together by a belief that how we are in the world, who we are together, matters. We light this chalice together in the knowledge that love, not fear, can change this world. Blessed be.
We're going to sing to open the service this morning. And since Joel isn't here, y'all are once again stuck with me. I'd also like to call a few people up to help if you're willing to come up and give a hand, any of our choir people. We're going to sing Gathered Here, and I'd very much love to have some help. Come on up. Come on up if you're willing. Anyone else willing to come join? Come on up. We'll spread you across all the way here. Yeah, come on. We got space. It's a simple tune. Can we have the slide, please? Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. That is lovely. Monica, I'm going to move you over here to the other side. Otherwise, the whole building will tilt. Let's try it again all together. And gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. This group first, and gathered here in the mystery of the hour. This group, gathered here. Your turn, gathered here in the... And my last friends, gathered here in... Once more, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, and gathered here in the struggle of the hour, gathered here mystery of the hour, Spirit, draw near, Spirit, draw near, Spirit, draw near, Spirit, draw near. Once more. Wednesday nights, 6:30. It would be so much easier if you all just come to choir. Thank you.
Beep, beep.
Hello, and welcome to PA Palooza. I am reading a responsive reading by Amanda Udis Kessler, and as Charlie would say, I'm the one. I read the one lines and you read the many. And we should be getting some words up on the screen, and here we are. We would go deeper. We would become courageous. We would know unutterable joy. May we go deeper. May our learning know no end. May we see the beauty in each other's faces.
Okay, I'm reading something called UUAF, which didn't quite catch what the AF was. Something, all in faith, all in faith. Our Unitarian Universalist identity and theology are shaped by our lived experience. By understanding our personal theology, we can engage and deepen our commitments in covenantal faith community. Then we can name and claim our shared theology to inform and shape a public theology that grounds our faithful actions in the world. This is an in-depth curriculum from our Meadville Lombard Seminary with an innovative edge. It is being run by ministers and religious educators from congregations all around Arizona. This is an opportunity to meet other UUs in the state, including Las Vegas, to go deeper into what you believe and how to put it into action. Registration is open until September 30th to join in this program to share our beliefs within, among, and beyond Unitarian Universalists in Arizona and Las Vegas. Use the QR code on the screen to learn more details and to register.
come together every week, bound not by a creed or mutual, for everything there is a season, good times and bad times, planting and reaping, joys and sorrows. We recognize this flow each week through our ritual of joys and sorrows. This water collected from Sonoran skies, our homes and our journeys, represents our congregation. We drop stones into the water as we share joys and sorrows, reflections of these seasons of our lives. We invite our congregation to respond with celebration and comfort. Tom will add a handful of stones for the sorrows unnamed, but still present among us, and another for the joys that we know occur each week, and yet another for the reminder of the seasons held among us, but not spoken aloud. Our Pastoral Care Committee, of which Tom is a member as well as Reverend Matthew, Sally, Michelle, Silvana, and Cheryl, invites you to contact us. We want to hear your joys and sorrows, and with your permission, we will share it on Sundays during our ritual. May we feel the rhythm of these seasons and respond to the needs among us. May it be so.
We were looking at the hymns and song possibilities for this morning, and we figured there was no way we could do a service focused on UUs this way and not sing Spirit of Life. We'll sing it twice, Spirit of Life and Fuente de Amor, the Spanish translation. If the Spanish trips you up, it's quite all right to just sing la, 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 la if you have trouble with the Spanish. Otherwise, the words will be on the screen, and I invite you all to rise as you see fit and join us in singing.
Good morning. This morning I'd like to share a reading called The Richness of Our Differences by Reverend Julianne Lepp. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May we be reminded that all beings are whole, sacred, and worthy. Let our hearts be welcome to multiple truths, not holding hard or fast to closed-mindedness or judgmental thinking. What can we learn from each other in the richness of our differences? May the heart of compassion help us to recognize the sacred in each other and bridge differences in these challenging times. May each of us be held in relationship, accountability, and the power of a beloved community. And so it is.
I want to be a UU. I think one simply finds oneself being a UU, but discovering that is the wonderful part. Imagine a queer person who has been trained to be an introvert about all the personal things, walking into a UU situation at age 45 and finding a consensual community, not just scattered individuals, a consensual community that wants to know you and is ready and eager for your as yet untold story. Why would you ever return to, fine, but I don't want to talk about it? But I'm keen to hear about your path to wanting to be a UU. Who's next?
Good morning. My name is Lee, many of you know, and I want to be a UU. I was raised Unitarian adjacent. My father was a Unitarian, and although I did not live with him, I experienced him to be a good person. My stepmother once told me that she was a Unitarian because when she walked into a Unitarian church with my dad, she found a group of people who were working hard to embody love. As a young adult living in North Texas, I wanted a place to find other people who shared my values, and remembering my father's example, I searched out the nearest Unitarian church. When I later moved to Tucson as a middle-aged adult, I wanted a community to grow connections with so I wouldn't find myself alone in my old age. During the COVID pandemic, I experienced Mountain Vista as a people who care for each other. When I came out to myself as non-binary, the second place I came out to was my church family. And I found that while not everyone understood what that meant or was very good at remembering my pronouns, most people at least made the effort to understand, and I discovered that the UUA had a curriculum, Transforming Hearts, that we were able to engage with so those who wanted to learn more could do so without making me feel awkward.
Let's get you a little closer to people at home, Candy.
Oh, thank you. Sounded loud to me. I love being part of a community that is working to bring greater justice and equity to the world, that understands and values the great diversity of beliefs and ways of being in the world, and all of the wonderful ways in which we are interconnected. I'd like to hear why you want to be a UU too.
Hello. Little better. My name is Iris Safehaven, and I want to be a UU, but I'm not sure I can be. Not sure yet. Anyway, I'll be candid. I'm transgender, not even 30, neither white nor black nor fully Hispanic, and I'm neurodivergent. I'm not sure I fit. As welcoming and loving as this congregation has been, I worry that there will not always be a place for me here. But I believe in the spirit of UU, and I adore the principles at its core. And I'm putting in work, time, and energy to be a part of this community. That's why I stand up here today. If I don't fit, it will be by no shortage of effort. And it is a great effort. Those of you who have had a chance to interact with me may have picked up on the fact that I have anxiety. It can be and has been debilitating. I tell you this so that you understand how difficult it is, so that I may convey how important it is to me. I grew up in a devout Christian home, and I was part of a big family. I have 4 siblings, 15 cousins. I know the power of community. I've seen it. I also know how devastating it can be to be othered and edged out. I'm terrified of that happening again. So I'm trying to be a part of what makes UU safe for people like me. I hope it's possible, but as of right now, I'm still uncertain. But I'll keep trying because I do want to be a UU. And I want to know why you want to be a UU too.
I want to be a UU because I love the feeling of acceptance and community that I feel here at MVUU. I respect the values that we hold together and the way we treat each other with openness, kindness, and compassion. It feels good to me that we can focus on living our values, deciding what's important to us, and helping people. I stopped being Catholic a very long time ago. Not very easy in my Italian Catholic family. I stopped because there were far too many opaque rituals and because I always felt unclear and confused about Scripture and what made sense to me and what the church wanted. I didn't fit, and I didn't want to fit. For me, being a UU means that I fit because I am me. It means that I'm always learning. I'm learning more about social justice. I'm learning to better understand how racism and sexism happen, both around me and within me, and how I can help and be better. I'm learning how to show up for what I value and appreciate so much that we can be different together and still be caring together. I'm learning that everything I do each day is connected and that what I do should represent what I value. I'd like to hear why you want to be a UU too.
My name is Zsombor Zoltán. Why I want to be a Unitarian Universalist. This is an interesting question that Reverend Matthew asked us, your Pastoral Associates, to respond to today. I already consider myself a Unitarian Universalist, so how can I want something I already comfortably consider part of my own identity? In order to want something, one must have some needs. So I ask myself, what needs do I have that makes me want to continue to be a Unitarian Universalist. I need a social circle made up of people I love and trust. I need a loving and supporting community. I need friends and perhaps like-minded people who are interested in who I am, are willing to respect me and hold me with a sense of dignity and worth. I need people who are willing to listen to me and find out who I am beyond my public facade. This, of course, seems quite one-sided. Relationships are about reciprocity and sharing. I must be and am willing to be supportive of those in need, providing what I can within the physical and psychological limits of my generosity and capability. I must be a good listener and truly hear what others want to express. I choose to feel and give love and be trusting of others within this, our MVUU covenantal community. Covenantal community based on love is the basis of Unitarian Universalism. I also recognize that everyone or anyone cannot always be available to others in the broader community. Each of us creates an outer envelope of priorities, personal boundaries, and we tend to hide our self-perceived weaknesses when in social spaces. And yes, we all value our privacy and often protect our inner, most vulnerable selves. It is a fine line that we must carefully be aware of, and yet we often transgress. Forgiveness works miracles. I realistically recognize in the face of our political polarization, climate crisis, and grossly unjust economic system, my outward influence is negligible. However, there is strength in numbers. Being a member here and being part of a greater organization like the Unitarian Universalist Association that cares for its congregants and affiliates and is willing to work for social justice, fight racism and inequality, is fully acceptive of LGBTQ plus fellow human beings and embraces those of us with disabilities, is the group I want to be with and describe our MVUU congregation. That is why I want to be a Unitarian Universalist. I'd like to hear why you want to be a Unitarian Universalist too.
There we go. Where is it? There. Hi. Hello. Good morning. My name is Melody, and I want to be a UU. Actually, already am. About 5 jobs ago, my coworker in Ohio told me about this church she was attending, a Unitarian place in Shaker Heights. I thought, seems too good to be true. You can believe as you choose, no kidding? As a former Methodist who struggled mightily with the demanding commandments and other absurdities, I was dubious. Wouldn't it be marvelous to find a group of like-minded religious liberals? Could such a place truly exist? Plus, I trusted Linda. We worked together with high-risk students, and she had a sensible head on her shoulders, so I checked it out. Sure enough, no kidding. I could take my atheist self there in safely. Wow. I couldn't believe it. I recently visited another UU church while on vacation and learned an alternative ending to happily ever after. So, for example, after Rapunzel is rescued by the prince, the final sentence is, and there was a lot of hard work. Forget that happily ever after myth. In reality, to continue moving forward, there is a lot of work involved. For example, I joined First Unitarian in Shaker Heights without my then husband and attended services on my own. When my younger daughter later joined, I was thrilled. But then she had a disastrous experience in religious education, and for a while I stopped going altogether for years. Eventually, after working hard on forgiveness, I returned to UUism by joining another congregation. And now I'm continuing being a UU so I can be part of a kinder, gentler world. So yes, we can expect a lot of hard work, but that's how growth really works. I still want to be a UU. I'd like to hear why you want to be a UU too.
My name is Robin Belsell, and I want to be a UU. But to be honest, I'm still figuring out exactly why. When I first came to MVUU, it was because it was my mom's church, and after she passed, I felt the need to stay connected to her, and this was a really great way to do that. Over time, I got involved as a PA and in the music program and on other committees, and now, of course, I'm your board secretary. And I had found a sense of community here that I cherished. What originally drew me to Unitarian Universalism was its openness. No specific God I had to believe in, just a space where I could explore ideas and possibilities rather than being told what absolutely is. That openness, the support, the people, it felt like home to me. But it hasn't always been easy. Taking on several roles in leadership has forced me to face challenges, difficult situations, and sometimes, frankly, difficult people. We've been through a lot of changes as a congregation and in all of our individual lives and as a country and the world. And in recent times, I've found myself feeling lost and put out and put down and even disconnected at times. But even with all of those feelings in my heart, I know this place is still my home. When the storm hit us this summer, I actually showed up the next morning to sweep up glass and debris. Even with everything else that's been twisting around with my head and my heart, there was no question that I needed to be there because I knew that this place was my home. So, even though things are feeling off and there are situations that need resolving, which I really don't have any idea how to resolve. In fact, I really struggled making this video because I don't feel like I have the answers. I don't know what the right thing is to say. I don't fully know what being a UU looks like for me right now or in the future, but I do know that I am one. And I know that I am searching, I am hopeful, I'm not alone, and I'm working towards what I need to find on this journey. And I'd like to hear why you want to be a UU too.
Hello, everyone. I want to be a UU because it's the only religion that has ever spoken to me. I grew up with no religion in my life. Chris had a word for it, I forgot it, but that's okay, which I'm quite grateful for. However, when I was young, watching shows where families of the shows went to church, Simpsons is the main example I can think of, I remember asking my parents, why don't we go to church? I don't recall them ever giving me a straight answer on that, but as I got older, I felt more and more grateful for that. I felt religion caused more grief than good in the world. Hearing about wars, fighting because of religion, people I cared about getting kicked out by their parents due to their religious beliefs, it honestly just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense to me. Why religion? Why would I want to be part of a group that treats people like that? I still feel that way, but UU is different. I'm hard-pressed to even call it a religion, because religion in my mind is kind of a negative connotation. UU is more of a community to join to become a better person. We don't care if you're Christian, Jewish, atheist, or even Pastafarian. You know, the flying spaghetti monster, he who boiled for your sins, ramen. The goal of the UU is to celebrate dignity and respect for all, nurture lifelong spiritual growth, act for justice and equality, and serve the wider community. Thank you, Google AI, for that one. That is something I can stand by. None of the weird dogma stuff of believing a dude in the sky who's making sure I don't do the gay or something crazy like that. You could care less. They just want me to be me and respect other people around me for being them. I'd like to hear why you want to be a UU too.
Hello again. You know, when that question was asked, I thought, that's a pretty good question, because I'm not sure. I feel that being a UU is a lot of responsibility, and here's why. I realize that living up to the principles is a very tall order. I feel that there is not to be just rhetoric spouted on Sunday mornings. It has to become a part of your DNA and an immediate response to situations, always respecting and understanding that we are here for each other. When I first moved to Tucson, my sister was attending a UU church here, and I decided to tag along and see what it was about. When I got here, I was not really ready to be a part of any organized religion. I'd been a minister, and I had done that. My mother had dragged us from one church to another. They became Jehovah's Witnesses, and after a while I said, I don't want to hear another word about any of this religion stuff, and I pulled away for a long time. But coming here was interesting because I saw the social activism that they were doing here. And I had not seen that really very active in other places. It was generally people with a lot of lip service, but no one going out and actually doing anything about anything. So having come out of a, finally, Jehovah's Witness household, and having been a religious science minister for many years, I realized that I could no longer be thought to be of any one faith, and that I must have the freedom of choice and luxury of being able to change my mind about what I believe. I accept that UU affords you that freedom. What I do fervently believe in, however, is that we are all part of one entity, and I relish being here in the company of people who understand that and cannot wait to meet more facets of myself. Thank you. And I'd like to know why you would like to be a UU.
Good job. Oh. My name is Samar, and I want to be a UU. I grew up as an Arab Christian. My parents were anti-organized religion, especially since they were survivors of a religious civil war. And so they provided my religious education at home, giving me the Bible and teaching me the stories. Due to our travels, I grew up in schools that were predominantly Muslim and Hindu, and there received religious education on Islam and through my friends on Hinduism. Being surrounded by multiple faith traditions and learning about them, I started questioning. And I think that was also when I started developing, I don't like being told what to believe. When we came to the States as a preteen, my mom, feeling guilty that my brother and I didn't attend church, found the closest local one and would drop us off on there on Sundays. I have to mention that she herself did not go in, and she wouldn't attend. She would just drop us off. And to give some context, it was a Baptist church. It was a shock to suddenly be part of a religious faith that to me was very judgmental. And even at the time, recognizing the hypocrisy of preaching on Christian values but not living them. It took us a few months, but my brother and I were finally able to convince my mom that this was not working out, and so we stopped attending. It took almost another 10 years before I walked into a UU congregation. I was introduced through CUPS, Covenant of UU Pagans, and so it blew my mind that a non-dogmatic spiritual tradition existed and that included both a multi-faith and a secular community. I love being a UU because the values and principles we have that match so much of mine. I love being a UU because it appeals to the part of me that loves learning about faith and religion, and the part of me that is skeptical and analytical. I love being a UU because of the work we focus on with social justice and the environment. I love being a UU because even though the nature of being part of community means that there's a flux in how accepted I can feel, I can always find community and people who do accept me. I love being a UU because I observe how we are constantly working to meet our values. And yes, even though we are imperfect and there are times we don't always meet them. I love being a UU because it challenges me when I'm not meeting my own values and helps orient me back. I hope to hear and that we can hear from some of you afterwards. Why do you want to be a UU?
I'm here. Yes, it's a job, but I'm here because I believe in the power of singing, and I believe in the power of music to help unite us all and bring us all together. And to that end, in just a second, I'm going to have you rise and sing with me hymn number 360, Here We Have Gathered. A tune, kind of a traditional sounding hymn, but words that would never have been sung in the church I grew up with, and in many of the churches I know you grew up with. But the power of us singing together, and working together, and dancing together, and being together, that's what's going to change the world. Rise and sing with me.
Please join us afterwards for refreshments and fellowship. And I hope during then I can hear some of your stories about why you're a UU. Before we go into announcements, Stacy asked me to make another small announcement that the s'mores night tonight was canceled. So please do not come here because the church will be locked up. And so, on your way to fellowship and refreshments following the service, you will find our gratitude bowl and basket. The bowl is for your financial support of our congregation, and the basket is for our monthly justice partner, which this month in September is Interfaith Community Services, ICS. Interfaith Community Services' vision for those they serve includes older and disabled adults will have access to transportation, meals, and help at home in order to remain independent in their homes. People in financial crisis will have a compassionate place to turn for vital services that help stabilize their housing, employment, food, and health care situations. It's a really great organization. Their clients in the community at large will gain better access to community resources, social support, education, and information to make informed decisions. Volunteers, faith communities, and supporters will have a place to serve their neighbors in need. All your generous gifts to MVU and ICS are deeply appreciated. For the Tucson Pride Parade, as a founding MVU congregation of Multi-Faith for Pride, we join with many faiths to share in Tucson's Pride Parade. All are invited to the Pride Shabbat at the Tucson Holocaust Museum at 5:30. Then, at 6:30, we begin our street partying with pizza and song. At 7:30, the parade starts, and we take our pride through the streets of Tucson's downtown. Ask Reverend Matthew, Lee, or Robin Crary about how much fun they had last year. Tucson Pride Parade on September 28th. The Baja Four, our 4 UU congregations here in southern Arizona, joined together to host a table at the Tucson Pride Fest at Reed Park on Saturday, September 28th. We will be promoting Our Whole Lives, OWL program. This is a unique curriculum addressing age-appropriate, fact-based sex and sexuality. The Baja Four shares it with our broader community, educating people of all ages. And then for our climate justice revival, Vince will come to the pulpit. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Vincent Pulowski, for those of you who don't know, and since you're all my friends, you can call me Vince. Today, after the service, we're going to have a short preview of the events coming on September 29, October 5 and 6, for those who want to help out, step up as leaders, or at least support people, or maybe someone who can bring a special climate-friendly dish for our, our climate-friendly sustainable potluck on Saturday, October 5th. We need lots of help. This is not something that staff and, a few volunteers are going to do. It's a congregation-wide event, so we hope to get your participation, and as soon as you grab your coffee and a snack, if you can meet with us in the Mesquite room, we'll give you a quick preview of what's going on the 3 days, and hopefully you'll help out, because it's not going to work if I do it by myself. Thanks.
And thanks to Tay, the announcements are posted in the Oasis room on a large screen, so you can view them as you socialize. Today's Releasing the Flame Yes?
I wanted to invite, Matthew and I have started gathering at the chalice for the releasing, and I would like very much, if it doesn't disrupt too much, everyone who spoke today, would you please come down? I recognize that Lee, Alex, and Iris are busy working and may not be able to join us, but if you spoke today, would you come and join us up here? And we recognize and we add Iris, Alex, and Lee as well, too.
Only One Thing Required of Us by Reverend Kendall L.R. Gibbons. There is finally only one thing required of us, that is to take life whole, the sunlight and the shadows together, to live the life that is given us with courage and humor and truth. We have such a little moment out of the vastness of time for all our wandering and loving. Therefore, let there be no half-heartedness. Rather, let the soul be ardent in its pain, in its yearning, in its praise. Then shall peace enfold our days, and glory shall not fade from our lives. Thank you, and blessed be.
Sergio Mendes, one enormous hit. In Brazilian Portuguese, the words simply mean, say no more. And such as there are a whole lot of other things that the lyrics say, it all comes down to, we put music together and we dance. Don't speak, just dance. You're always welcome to stand up and dance.